My name is Miles Shattuck. I'm on the marketing team here at Rebuy. I'm really into music, marketing, tennis, and tacos. Those are my thing. We've got a casual vibe today. We're going to be demonstrating some real tactics that you can use to grow your Shopify store. And we hope that you walk away with some actionable tactics and strategies. San Francisco, what's up, Kelly? Thank you for joining. California in the house. This is going to be around 50 minutes. We're going to add a little Q&A session at the end if we have time. We're going to follow up with an email. We'll have a video of the webinar, all the follow-ups fit to dish. Engage with us, which you are doing right now. I love to see that. Chat with us, share your thoughts and experiences in the chat. Ask questions when you have them. We will collect them and for the Q&A at the end. And we have one poll today. I have a very important question I want to ask you guys. And we will be asking that here in a few slides. So stay tuned for that. But first, I'm very stoked to have two amazing humans on the webinar today. We have Tanner Flitter. He's the head of growth at Mosh. And we have the VP of Merchant Success at Rebuy, Aaron Duncan. Tanner, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bio.
Thanks, Miles. Yeah, excited to be here and chat. I've been leading growth at Mosh for the past several years. And yeah, super excited to chat through some tactics today.
Icebreaker question for you, Tanner. What's the most underrated perk of working at Mosh?
Great question. I mean, besides the unlimited supply of our delicious and nutritious protein bars, I would say the most underrated perk of working at Mosh is probably being surrounded by people who, are genuinely passionate about brain health as they are about building this brand. There's just always, this inspiring energy. Like we're not just selling a product, but we're driving a vision and a mission forward.
Love that. Great mission. Super inspiring. Thank you. We also have Aaron Duncan. Aaron, give us a little introduction, a little quick bio.
Yeah, I lead our merchant success and our launch teams here at Rebuy. I've been doing that for the past 4 years now. I've been in the D2C e-com space for maybe close to 12, 13 years. I started off on the brand side doing marketing, and then I had a 4-year run at Shopify and Shopify Plus, where I was helping thousands of merchants, and now getting into the personalization space with Rebuy. I've been doing that for the past 4 years. So excited to be here, share some strategies and level up the audience.
I'm so glad you're here, my friend. What is your favorite Rebuy feature and why?
Ooh, this
Tough
is a
one.
good one. I love a good checkout experience. I think checkout is such an important spot to be overcoming doubt and converting customers, and that's where the transaction happens as well too. So definitely all the checkout optimization functionality from A/B testing. And I think what's so special about that checkout is that is a spot where you can increase every e-commerce KPI, whether that's lifetime value, conversion rate, or average order value. Yeah, I would definitely have to go with the checkout.
Awesome. Critical step of the journey. Thank you. Oh, by the way, we do have Sarah Hatter, our Rebuy's event manager, is on the show. She's going to be managing the show. So thank you very much, Sarah. Please drop all your questions in the chat. Sarah will help us triage those, and we'll also do the Q&A at the end. We have a special treat, and we can thank Tanner for offering to give away a $50 gift card to Mosh. So if you are interested in a free box of Mosh protein bars, definitely engage with us, share your thoughts, feelings, deepest emotions in the chat. I can advocate for the peanut butter chocolate. I'm on my last bar, Tanner, and I'm about ready to re-up. I'm looking at those, that hazelnut blueberry, I think is the new flavor. I'm thinking about re-upping here soon. Very good stuff. Okay, let's get started. Here's what we have in store for the next 45-ish minutes. We are going to define a nebulous term, e-commerce personalization. Tanner's going to share a little bit of the Mosh story, and then Aaron is going to take us through a few tactics that Tanner's used to grow the Mosh store, and then we're going to wrap with some questions. So get your questions ready. What is e-commerce personalization? Now, I'm teeing everyone up here for some engagement and a chance to win some free Mosh bars. Drop your answer in the comments. You've probably heard this term before, especially if you know about Rebuy and you've hung out with us at some events. How do you define e-commerce personalization? Drop it in there. Just take a wild guess. What is e-commerce personalization? I can tell you right now, if you look it up in your favorite LLM, it will probably say something like it's the practice of tailoring online shopping experiences to individual customers, which is true. At Rebuy, we also like to think of e-commerce personalization as shopping experience optimization. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, how do you do that? How do you optimize shopping experiences? You can do that by delivering relevant content, personalized product recommendations, and offers based on data. Data like customer preferences, demographics, sales data, shopping behaviors. And there is one brand that has done a terrific job of that and about a terrific job of optimizing their shopping experience for their customers. And that brand is Mosh. So Tanner, I will turn to you. Tell us a little bit about Mosh, the brand, the product, the mission.
Yeah, absolutely. So after seeing a loved one's battle with Alzheimer's, Maria Shriver and her son, Patrick Schwarzenegger, came up with the idea and created Mosh, which we call the Brain brand, to really inspire and educate people to proactively maintain their brain health. It's not something that you think about every day, but a great fact that has always stuck with me is 40% of Alzheimer's disease cases may be preventable by lifestyle adjustments, and that's according to Cleveland Clinic. So really on a mission to share the message of brain health. Our products, we have protein bars that contain over 6 ingredients that support cognition, including cognizin, lion's mane, ashwagandha, and several others that are really designed to support your brain and body. So all that kind of with the mission, together with every purchase, we donate a portion to the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, founded by Maria, to fund Alzheimer's research and make a difference for all generations. And lastly, I think it's very recent, as it was just announced this week, that Maria Shriver was featured on the 50 over 50 list on Forbes, honoring women changing the game. And Maria was acknowledged for, really kind of pioneering the conversation around brain health and taking action.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations to Maria and to Mosh there. That's wonderful. Tanner, take us back in time here. Now we got to get in the Wayback Machine. Take us back to the fall of 2023, behind the walls of Mosh HQ. What were some of the challenges that you and the team were facing at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I think our goals, I think, were accelerating growth responsibly, so increasing AOV, improving retention, and really around that time, outside of recovering from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all hands were on deck for a complete rebrand launch that was coming in June of 2024, including a product reformulation, as well as launching into retail nationwide. So really kind of all hands on deck on several, huge projects.
Got it. So obviously you've got a rebrand you're preparing for, and then you had a Shark Tank episode kind of in that Patrick and Maria had been on, and you were waiting for it to air. Was that right?
Yeah, so they actually had filmed the episode in November of 2023. And we had no idea when the episode was going to air. How it works is they essentially give you a 2 weeks notice in terms of, all right, this is when your air date is going to be. So, with everything else going on, we were essentially beating every scenario to death when it comes to Shark Tank, including inventory and forecast planning, thinking through, the customer journey, debating, what the new customer offer should be, how we follow up with these customers, while trying to take steps to optimize our site in order to support these things and really kind of take full advantage of, essentially a free national commercial. That it's an opportunity that doesn't happen twice.
Well, we can, I think it's safe to say that you took full advantage of that opportunity. Patrick and Maria go on Shark Tank. They crush it. Um, the stakes were high. You had the episode, the Shark Tank episode. You had a rebrand. You're trying to optimize your store before this anticipated, a potential wave of traffic. And for those in attendance, you can actually catch the full interview with Tanner from the Momentum stage. I had the pleasure of interviewing him back in May on live at Momentum. It's on the Rebuy YouTube channel. Check that out. It's an amazing interview. You get the whole story. You can also check out the case study on rebuyengine.com. But I will give you a little teaser here of one of my favorite charts that I've seen in several years. This is Mosh's subscription growth. Tanner, what are we looking at? What should people know about this, and what's the story here?
Yeah, this is a great visual. I think, it shows in March our kind of implementation of Rebuy to really, help us with our goals of, retention specifically with subscriptions, AOV, and then it shows, that blip with Shark Tank. And I think, with Shark Tank, we didn't just want this to be a historical blip on a graph. We really wanted to retain and nurture these new customers because, we want to turn them into, long-term customers, ideally
Right.
subscribers. So that's kind of, what this visual is highlighting, the implementation of Rebuy in March. Our, episode aired in May, the first Friday in May, and then kind of shows, the sustained subscription and renewals that we were able to achieve with, the help and support of Rebuy features.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, the one takeaway when I show this graph to folks, I say, feast your eyes on the green line. Green line tells a major story. It's the story of like retention infrastructure. Um, you have a huge wave of traffic from the Shark Tank appearance. Subscription revenue skyrockets. New subscribers, you can see the blue line. And then in June, you see a dip, a natural dip. But then you see the pink line, subscription renewals start taking off, subscription renewals climbing steadily throughout all of 2024. And I was telling a story to a gal at Shoptalk. They had also been on Shark Tank, but they said that they weren't able to retain that wave of traffic. And I was telling them the Mosh story. And I was like, it's if you just look at the revenue, it's like they're enjoying that benefit of that PR blast every month. It's as if, they're on Shark Tank every month in terms of their revenue. And she's like, oh, that's a good story. And the revenue just, it kind of just maintains that new benchmark, which is just so fantastic to see. So now it's about time to get into some of the tactics that Tanner and Mosh has used to generate these results. But before we do, question for the group. This is poll time. Keep your eyes on that $50 gift card. Please engage with us. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to personalization? And we have a poll that we're about to trigger here. Creating personalized recommendations, creating the actual widgets and the recommendations, segmenting your customer data, integrations, integrating your tools, your personalization tools with your e-commerce platform. Or is it just the resources and time? Or if you're kind of new to personalization, maybe you're totally overwhelmed. Give us your answer. All right, let's see what we got as these results roll in. In the meantime, we're going to jump into tactic number 1, subscription upsells. So Tanner, we saw the graph. We've seen Mosh achieve some real cosmic level success here with their strategies. What kind of role did subscription upsells play in your strategy? You're obviously, you've got a subscription model. Tell us a little bit about how Mosh used subscription upsells.
Yeah, subscription upsells and, the smart cart feature tied to that was definitely like the first features that we implemented, starting in March, because again, with D2C business, subscription is just so important from a retention perspective, and being able to rely on that monthly recurring revenue, especially as an early age startup, is so critical. So we started with these upsell touch points with the pop-up, so when someone adds a one-time purchase to their cart, they receive that pop-up that just reiterates, besides the 20% savings, the benefits of a subscription. And another touch point within the smart cart is kind of, that subscribe and save for 20% off button right there. As well, just to kind of reiterate, the benefits. So just having kind of touch points to upsell on subscription, while also messaging, and really kind of highlighting the benefits of subscribing to the product.
Outstanding. Yeah, and what we see here is the Mosh store. There, the smart cart. You get a little sneak peek at the checkout. They got some cross sells there. Messaging across the site. So let's go ahead and show folks how they can get started with subscription upsells. And I'm going to tee up a video here from Aaron Duncan. He is going to break down how you can get started creating upsells like Mosh using Rebuy.
Hey everyone, today we're going to go through one of the best ways to acquire more subscribers through Rebuy, and that's using our smart cart and the switch to subscription functionality. If you are not a Rebuy user, what you're going to want to do is head over to apps.shopify.com/Rebuy and get the Rebuy app. If you are a Rebuy user, what you want to do is go ahead and log into Rebuy. And the first thing that we'll do is set up our subscription integration. So we integrate with a variety of subscription providers. Go ahead and make sure the status is set to on, and then connect your subscription provider if you haven't already. Once that's done, we're going to head over to cart and merchandising and smart cart, and we're going to create a new smart cart. So this is the best cart to increase all of your e-commerce KPIs, whether that's AOV conversion or lifetime value. And we're going to go ahead and create this smart cart. Once you are inside of the smart cart editor, what we'll do is we'll head over to this cart items area and toggle on this switch to subscription. If you want to disable the ability for your customers to switch back to a one-time if they have a subscription product in the cart, you can enable this disable downgrade button. And once your cart settings are all ready to go, we can go ahead and toggle this live and save it as is. So let's go ahead and save right here. And once that's ready to go, we can preview this on our store. And here we can see the switch to subscription functionality available on our products. So really easy way to acquire more subscribers.
Awesome. Thank you. And now, Aaron, you've also recorded one for the add to cart pop-up. We're going to get to that here too. So there was in-cart subscription upsells. We are going to touch on add to cart subscription upsells. They're triggered when somebody adds a product to the cart. You get a little pop-up offering the subscription, and we will run a quick demonstration here for that, and that will play right now.
Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you another great way to acquire subscribers, and that's through a switch to subscription pop-up that is triggered when a customer adds a product to cart. So to do this inside of Rebuy, you're going to want to go inside of your Rebuy admin and head over to cart and merchandising. Once you're in there, you're going to head over to widgets, and we're going to look at a product page widget. Before doing so, of course, we want to make sure that our integrations are set up and that you're connected with your subscription platform. Once we are in the product page section, we're going to create a new widget, and this is going to be a add to cart subscription upsell pop-up. Go ahead and create a new widget here. Now, what you'll want to do is on the layout, we want to get it to show one item. And then should you want to update the language, we've got this stock switch to subscription, save more and unlock the convenience, but perhaps you want to outline what the benefits of subscribing are. You can include that over here in the description. I'll leave that blank now for demonstration purposes, and then go ahead and save. Once you've saved the widget, we're going to go ahead and install this in our Shopify theme. So click on this install button. That's going to bring you to this page with installation instructions. All you have to do is copy the widget ID and head over to your theme in your theme editor by clicking that install widget button. This is going to bring us to the theme editor, and you'll see an app block for a Rebuy widget. Inside of the app block for Rebuy widget, go ahead and paste the widget ID here. Make sure that the widget is enabled. Go ahead and save. And once you do that, you should be able to see that when I add a one-time product to cart, I'm prompted with a subscription upsell. So again, another easy way to acquire more subscribers.
Awesome. Thanks for taking us through that, Aaron. Tanner, Aaron, any last minute details, thoughts on the subscription upsells in cart or add to cart pop-ups?
I think just generally for a lot of D2C e-commerce brands, acquiring subscribers or figuring out how to create more value for your customers beyond just a pure discount strategy, as Tanner mentioned, really explaining the benefits of the subscription program, the value that provides, to you, and then really inserting multiple touch points. Like we talked about the cart, we talked about the pop-up as well too. Over the past few years in D2C e-commerce, we've seen, customer acquisition rates rise, and it can't just simply be, let's just pour more advertising into acquisition. And a lot of brands, top brands really thinking through what is the retention play, how do we make it easy for customers to come back as well. So that's my general take on it and kind of what I'm hearing from our user base and market.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next tactic. This is checkout extensions. And I know, Aaron, this is your favorite feature of Rebuy. It's definitely done some work for Tanner and the Mosh team. Tanner, just wanted to ask you briefly, like, how are you thinking about, checkout page optimization, and how are you using, checkout page cross sells and other kind of content on the checkout page to improve conversions in AOV?
I mean, the checkout page has prime real estate, and I think it's one of those things, and looking, at abandoned cart and trying to really kind of improve, any abandonment or drop off there. So I think, using checkout extensions, one, it's just, with a lot of Rebuy widgets, very easy to implement, which I always appreciate, because I think we're a very lean team at Mosh, and we work with a web dev agency, but a lot of the time in implementing these widgets, it's being able to do it myself or with the help of Rebuy support as well. So I think the examples here kind of show how we're using checkout extensions for cross-sell opportunities, which includes, recommendations using AI, basket analysis essentially. So, if I'm checking out with lemon white chocolate, for example, I may see other recommendations that are commonly bought together within the same basket, which is great. And then also, I think social proof. So, integrating with Akendo and being able to, show kind of those real customer reviews in addition to the recommendations. And then we've also, used trust badges as well. So kind of just showing happiness guarantee, fast and secure shipping. So kind of thinking through again the customer journey and what, if any, hesitations there might be, and using checkout extensions just to kind of, provide the reassurance, whether it is social proof, trust, or kind of the recommendations from like the AOV side of things, is really great.
Love that. I love adding like the social proof, the verified social proof, verified testimonials right at that like critical moment. And it has done quite a bit of work for Mosh. 9% of the additional revenue comes from this cross-sell widget on the checkout page. And we have got a little demo here from Aaron to show folks how they can get started with checkout extensions. And that's coming up here right now.
Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the world's best converting checkout, the Shopify checkout, even better using Shopify Plus and Rebuy's checkout optimization functionality. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and install Rebuy if you haven't already. And then once you have installed that, you're going to want to log into Rebuy and head over to this checkout and post-purchase tab, and specifically the checkout extensions area. What we'll do today is we'll create a few different checkout extensions that'll optimize every single e-commerce KPI. Specifically, the ones that we're looking at are conversion rate, lifetime value, and average order value. So there are a few different widgets that we're going to create today. We'll create a in-checkout recommendation widget. So that's a cross-sell widget so that we can recommend products to customers at this key point of the customer journey inside of the checkout. We'll also increase conversion rates by using dynamic content blocks to overcome any doubt that customers may have when they are in checkout. And then the last one that we'll go through is the line item editor, which will allow customers, if you are selling subscriptions, to upgrade into subscription inside of the checkout. So let's go ahead and get started with the in-checkout recommendations. We're going to select this. We'll call this widget in-checkout recommendations. And here you'll see that we have the checkout recommendations widget here. If we want, we can update the language with some persuasive copy. So maybe say like, get these now. We can update the language here as we choose. If we wanted to configure the types of products that are being recommended, you can either use, Rebuy's AI, or we can hand select which products and use various different logic and conditions to determine which products are displayed, depending on who the customer is or what products are in the cart. We'll save this as is for now. And then what we're going to want to do is copy this widget ID, head over to the checkout editor, and then simply add a block. And we can add this Rebuy Smart Component block by pasting the widget ID over here, choose to include this in Shop Pay as well. And then we can go ahead and save. And should we want to place this elsewhere, usually in the order summary, our recommendation is recommending products that are between 10 to 15% of your average order value. We see that convert the best. But if we wanted to put it, say, for example, in other areas of the store, or the checkout rather, we can do that as well too. So go ahead and save that here. Next up, what we'll do is let's take a look at the content blocks to help increase conversions. So again, go to the checkout extensions, hit new, content block. Let's call this one trust badges. So here we can add any copy, persuasive language as well. If we wanted to add images, you can either use our stock icons that we have over here. So if you wanted to put some, stars and whatnot, we can also upload our own images as well. So here I've uploaded an image, which is a trust badge. Go ahead and add that here. And then we'll just make this a bit larger. And this is just overcoming any doubt that the customers may have in regards to checking out on your store and converting. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And then similarly, we'll copy this widget ID, head over to our checkout editor, and perhaps add a block by the payment information here. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's make sure not to hide the extension. Save that. Let's make sure this is visible as well too. Okay, great. And then the last one is going to be the line item editor. So what we're going to want to do is head back over to Rebuy, go back to the checkout extensions section, create a new widget, and this is going to be the line item editor, which is going to allow customers to upgrade into subscription. You'll see I've created one already. If you haven't created one, you'll be able to create a new one. In this case, I'm simply going to edit this. And then what you'll want to do is simply toggle on this switch to subscription button. If you want to stop customers from downgrading after they've upgraded to subscription, you can certainly do that. And then you can update the language of this particular call to action and button here as well too. So once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and copy the widget ID. We'll head over to our checkout editor. And where we're going to want to add a component is inside of the order summary where it says items to cart. So we'll paste the widget ID right over here, make sure that the extension is visible, and go ahead and save this checkout. And then what we should see is inside of the checkout, a fully optimized checkout. So we've got the trust badges over here, we've got the cross sells over here, and then we've got the ability to upgrade to subscription directly inside of the checkout here. It's worth noting that every single one of these functionalities can also be A/B tested. So with our A/B testing package, what you can do is head over to Rebuy, flows in A/B testing, and we can create a checkout offer experiment where we'd be able to test our customers converting more with the trust badges, our customers adding more to cart with the recommendations, and then we can understand the incrementality that optimizing the checkout is actually adding to your store.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Aaron. You optimized an entire checkout page in like 5 minutes. It's fantastic. Love the drag and drop functionality there too. Aaron, Tanner, any last details, thoughts on checkout page optimization before we move on to our final tactic?
One thing to look out for in the checkout is like ultimately, if a customer is entering the checkout, you as a brand, your goal is to get that customer to convert. So be really mindful of if you're offering any products that are being cross-sold in the checkout, you kind of want those products to be really easy to add, impulse buys, if you will. The last thing that you want to do, and oftentimes we have brands who are like, oh, let me get this like big bundle inside of the checkout. And then customers might see that and customers might actually convert on that. But if you're looking at that, you don't want to necessarily introduce another decision point where they're like, oh yeah, that does look interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at that and learn more. And then they end up going back, and then their mom calls them or their partner texts them, and for whatever reason, they just don't convert. So think through and based off of your data, understand, why are my customers not converting? Is it because they don't trust my brand? Maybe we can introduce some trust badges. Is it because like they can't see the social proof? Let's show some reviews there. And what I love about the checkout again is like, as you can see, any e-commerce KPI can be improved through that, whether that's your retention rate, subscriber acquisition, conversion, of course, then average order value too.
Awesome. Love the A/B testing too. Always be testing. We got a little bit more for you. Our final tactic of the day is post-purchase offers. Now, coming back to you, Tanner, I know post-purchase offers played a big role in Mosh's success there. Tell me a little bit about how you think about the post-purchase offer touch point and how Mosh is using post-purchase offers to grow their business.
Yeah, this is, I mean, personally one of my favorites because I think, this has really been a immediate game changer when it comes to AOV, especially for Mosh, because we still are just really kind of within the protein bar space. So we only offer protein bars. Granted, we have several different flavors, and we have whey-based versus plant-based, but that only gets you so far, I think, in terms of AOV. And we have some really exciting things in the pipeline, but for now, I think it's just a great, incentive, to increase AOV. And it's also, another touch point for one-click subscribe and save as well. And then, I also enjoy post-purchase because it is great to, incentivize trial. Maybe we just launched plant-based last month. So maybe, really kind of focusing on the plant-based trial pack post-purchase offer based off of, customer behavior and what they're purchasing, to incentivize that trial. And, I with A/B testing as well, kind of joining the chat per se, it's really great to A/B test post-purchase as well. So it's, we just implemented A/B testing messaging specifically for subscribers versus non-subscribers, so kind of messaging those customers differently. Also looking into, first-time customers versus returning, and really kind of, seeing great results from that. So this one has been, one of my personal favorites.
Awesome. Thank you. We're going to jump right into the demo of post-purchase offers coming up right now.
In this video, we're going to go through how to set up a post-purchase offer widget and post-purchase offer flow to optimize that pivotal point after customers have converted to increase your gross margin on each of the orders. So if we take a look at Rebuy and head into Rebuy and go to checkout and post-purchase and head over to this post-purchase tab, the first thing that we're going to want to do is create this merchandising widget. So head over to post-purchase widgets and select new widgets. Let's call this post-purchase 20% discount. We'll go ahead and create that. Here we're going to be in the widget editor. So you can update things like the timer, the copy over here inside each of these settings. And we can also offer discounts to customers as well. One of the best strategies for brands that are selling consumables is to offer products that they've already purchased at a discount. If you're a brand that's shipping multiple products, oftentimes shipping smaller products inside of the same box can also be helpful too. And all of this can be configured inside of the data source inside of Rebuy, which is basically the rule building engine. In this case, we're going to leave it as is using the AI-based recommendations. And here we're going to set a percentage-based discount to 20%. So you'll see here, we've got our offer. Let's go ahead and save this widget. The nice thing about post-purchase is built in, we've got A/B testing as well. So you can test different offers to understand which ones are converting better, which ones are driving more revenue to your store. So if we head back over to the post-purchase widgets section, we can go ahead and duplicate this. Let's say, for example, I want to understand if a 20% discount converts better than a 10% discount. I can simply duplicate this widget, head over to the duplicated copy, and make a quick modification to this. Let's call it 10% discount. And let's update the discount over here to 10%. After you've created your widgets, it's time to set up the flow. So we're going to head back to post-purchase, go to post-purchase flows. We'll create a new flow. And here you'll have our flow builder. So basically, after the order has been completed, the customer is going to get presented with an offer. Let's go ahead and select our widget here. So let's set the 20% discount. And if we wanted to A/B test this, we'll click this A/B testing button, and we'll test this against the 10% discount. What's great about the post-purchase is that we can also offer upsells and downsells if the customer accepts or declines the offer accordingly. So let's say if they accept the offer, I want to show them this foam cleanser post-purchase. And if they decline the offer, I want to show them this 15% discount here. So again, we can do various A/B testing here if we wanted to test this against different strategies, ensuring that we're optimizing for incremental lift on the post-purchase spot. I'll go ahead and save this. And once you've saved this, it's time to deploy it. All you have to do is head over here, take a look at your flows. In this case, this is the one that I just created. We're going to go ahead and turn this as the active flow. We can reorder these and have multiple flows running at once if need be. And then the final step would be to go into the Shopify admin and make sure underneath the checkout settings that Rebuy is selected over here. We'll go ahead and save that. And then what we should see is after the customer is converting, we should be showing them some post-purchase offers. So let's go ahead and complete this order. Now you'll see there's our first widget. We also have subscription functionality here as well too. So we can hit pay now and accept that offer. And then we have the upsell over here. If I had declined, I would have seen the downsell offer as well. So great way to just add incremental revenue to your store without any risk of conversion rates.
Post-purchase offers. It's the one time you have like 100% of your customers' attention. Love that. Let's go back to our presentation. Time is kind of getting away from us, but we've got just enough time to cover what we need here, which is a quick moment for the Rebuy launch team. Tanner, I know that you went through the Rebuy launch package. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience working with the Rebuy launch team?
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of like looking back at all the projects we had going on with the rebrand, included a complete redesign of the website and updating, so many assets. So our hands were really full. And again, we were such a small, lean team that, kind of launching Rebuy really wanted to minimize burn from our web dev agency and, really kind of utilize Rebuy's onboarding process to help us out, which they truly did. The merchant success team is so great in terms of not only answering questions but providing resources, and going above and beyond, just sending you a link. Like they'll kind of provide anything you want. So I was very impressed in terms of the onboarding process, and truly was one of the best experiences that I've had in terms of onboarding within our tech stack.
Aaron, what should folks know about the Rebuy launch team? If they want to get started or if they're interested in a Rebuy launch package to kind of fast track their optimizing their store.
Yeah, we've got like former operators on our team here on the D2C ecom side. People have worked at Shopify, other apps in the Shopify ecosystem as well too. So we'll really be consultative with you, guide you through the process, understand what your needs are, and then this is really designed for brands that know what they want to do, or maybe want some guidance in terms of what they want to do, but just like from a bandwidth perspective, would like to have someone else set this up. And obviously we're in our tool day in and day out. So kind of bringing your vision to life is the whole goal with the launch program. And we've got a special offer as well too that I know we're going to share with the group.
Absolutely. Yeah. Why don't you tell us about this offer here, Aaron?
Yeah, so this is our done for you service, where the Rebuy team will implement a lot of these functionality from homepage, all the way through to checkout, post purchase. We're running a offer right now for people in attendance or people who are catching the recording for a 50% discount off of our Rebuy launch packages during the month of August. You can scan this QR code to get in touch with our team. You can also visit rebuyengine.com/request-a-launch-demo.
This QR code is live. Snap that thing and get in touch with Aaron and his team. This is a killer. 50% off is a killer deal on pretty much anything these days. And if it means, getting the fast track to optimizing your store, definitely want to take advantage of this throughout the month of August. And we are going to finish things off here just in time with some Q&A. Maybe we can grab one or two questions and then let folks go. Any questions here that look compelling that we can answer? Oh, the tutorials. Okay, Nathan, yes, we've got a ton on our help center. We'll also include the video of this webinar in our follow-up email. YouTube, we've been packing our YouTube channel with all sorts of how-tos and tutorials. You can spend a whole afternoon there kind of learning how to optimize your shop. So please give our YouTube channel a look-see as well. Maybe one more question here. Aaron, you've been answering these like as they come. Any final questions? If not, we will grab the ones that we did not answer and we will provide some answers in our follow-ups too. So keep an eye out there.
I'm seeing a question from ProHealth here and asking, does Rebuy provide any reporting for the checkout extensions, such as showing how many customers upgraded from one-time to subscription within the checkout? Yeah, we provide a ton of reporting in our suite. I think the A/B testing specifically provides some really great insight on that checkout spot specifically. You'll see how many people are, being impressed a certain version of the checkout, how many of those are converting as well too. And then each of the widget specific items as well is showing you how many people are directly adding from this particular functionality. That checkout one is actually a new drop that our team, shout out to the Rebuy product team, always constantly innovating and dropping product. But that one I think just came out maybe over the past month or so.
Awesome. And I see one here from Jenna really quick. Maybe we can sneak in. She says, am I correct in thinking that if using Rebuy's subscription upsell pop-up, it's best to have the PDP subscription widget default set to one-time purchase? So on the PDP, is it best to have that default to one time, or should you default that to subscription?
Yeah, I don't want it to be a cop-out answer, but my recommendation is like always test. Like each brand is unique, each customer base is unique as well too. Although we will typically see the default be a one-time, and then the pop-up comes in explaining the value of what the subscription is and why people should be subscribing so that they're able to opt in. Usually for brands that are setting subscription as a default, I would say like it's a great strategy for acquiring more subscribers. Sometimes, people are moving so fast, they're purchasing things they don't necessarily know what they're signing up for. And then you can see a little bit of like subscriber retention drop off as well. But again, this is just anecdotally speaking, always best to test. And that way you have the data to validate, what decision you're making with your strategy.
Great. Awesome. I do know of a brand that also used subscription downsells. I think there was another kind of a tactic that they were testing where you can default it to subscription, but then give people the option to downsell to a one time. All right. With that, I want to say thank you. Oh, here's my doggers Watson. He's going to say bye. Thank you to Tanner and Aaron and Sarah for joining me on this webinar. This has been awesome. Tons of information, a lot of great questions. Looking forward to putting this follow-up together and connecting with everyone here, sharing the videos that were shared in this webinar. Check out Mosh, moshlife.com. We will also announce the winner of the $50 Mosh gift card. And take advantage of that 50% for a Rebuy launch package if you're interested in that. Check us out at rebuyengine.com. And don't forget to catch the full Mosh case study, rebuyengine.com, or you can catch the video from Momentum on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great day. Until next time.